Behind the Gloves. CMD, we're in for a special treat today. And this is one of the guys that's really on the top of the list when we talk about Camden boxers. I mean, I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Anybody that I've ever talked to is one of the first names that come up. So again, I'm Angelo Watson James. I run the Department of Recreation in the city of Camden. I want to give a shout out to Victor Carstephen for the mayor and Dory Brown. Without this would not happen. But I want to give a special shout out to a very special guest, to Bhadi, Prince Bhadi.
Indeed.
A champion, a 9-time champion, right? We in for a special treat. I want to start off saying thank you for showing up today.
Thank you for having me. Excuse my seat.
Problem. Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
so, as far as I know, you're a legend in this city. But just early on, how was it for you growing up here in the city of Camden?
Man, I would be not telling the truth if I said it was hard, but it was real. You know what I'm saying? Some people will tell you it was hard. I'm gonna tell you it was real, because every triumphant time you go through, or every tough time you go through, you become more of who you already are. And because of that, it matured me into being a philosophical fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Philosophical about fighting and philosophical about life, because fighting has everything to do with life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how
it's very interesting. I mean, were you always like this kind of thoughtful, philosophical guy, even in your early teenage years and stuff like this?
In my early teenage years, in my own way, in my own right, I was, but I didn't know that I was at that time. Yeah. I didn't recognize that I was until I got older, and I still kept being more of who I already was.
Yeah.
And that's what made me realize that pressure, situations, they don't necessarily change people. They just really show you who the people truly are internally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what people start to show you when they go through things. They show you more of who they already are.
Yeah, it's true. Did you know you were a fighter, per se?
Yeah, I knew I was a fighter because my dad, rest in peace, had me in martial arts school at a young age. Okay. And I had an uncle that was a black belt. So I would train at this building on Broadway and Royden Street called the OEO building.
Yeah, OEO, right.
Yeah, I was one of the Sensei Thor students.
Thor, that's my frat brother.
Yeah. Well, my uncle got his black belt under Thor. My uncle Bole, my uncle Pete.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, Pete Raisin. You know what I mean? Rest in peace. So my dad put me in there because my uncle was already in there, and you know what I'm saying? And then from there, it was boxing after that.
Yeah.
You know?
So, and we talk about Camden being a tough town, and even outside of like karate and boxing, there was always that element of fighting in the streets and stuff like this. So, well, the legend is that you really was a tough guy in the streets.
Oh yeah. I was a tough guy in the street because I felt like when you're a light-skinned guy, people always think light-skinned guys are soft. No disrespect. I mean, they just think that we soft, or we sweet. You know what I'm saying? And I like to take it and make humor of it. You know what I'm saying? I said, I know I look like, I know it look like if I get slapped, I'm gonna turn red and all that little goofy stuff. No. And I said, but even though I am light, I still know how to get right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can relate, Bhadi. I ain't the darkest person in the world. Right. And I remember being young and like being aggressive because of that, because of the fear that I knew what they perceived.
Yes.
So I would take it ahead of time. I would just take it to them, and then that's how I had a lot of friends back then because they knew I wasn't scared.
Right.
But that was my own fear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Of like people perceiving me that way, but obviously I wasn't like a super tough guy or nothing like this. But I just was remarking about you being like a city legend as far as being in the streets and fighting. Do you have any like notorious stories of?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, can we talk about this? Cause
I got plenty of notorious stories, man. Listen, man. I always used to keep a group of dogs with me. I'm talking about 6, 8, sometimes 15 dogs just travel behind me. And I walk all over the city of Camden. You know what I'm saying? And they, look, you ever thought about being able to trust somebody and keeping a secret? You tell them, they ain't never saying nothing.
They ain't never saying nothing.
And then they showed me that they understood me. So that's when I was like, I really, really became obsessed with the training of them and being able to get them to do things that regular, ordinary people didn't do with the dogs. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I did, man.
You like DMX before
Before DMX,
DMX,
before
right?
DMX, yeah, I
Right.
was like that. Yup, and that's why DMX was like my favorite rapper because of his relationship with the dogs. That was me.
You could understand it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just that
Right.
he went to rapping with it, I went to boxing with it.
Boxing
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah.
So was it when you had your dogs that maybe some people tried you, or
Yeah.
was it like, they thought it was weird, or what was the deal?
Nah, they made fun. Some people who wanted to try me wouldn't try me with the dogs with me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because the dogs, they weren't normally mean dogs,
Yeah.
but they kicked up when it came to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and with me, see, I was walking around with them dogs at 10, 11 years young. And people see you walking with a lot of dogs, especially if they don't look like they really mean dogs. They're like, he got a bunch of mutts with him, not knowing that they're mutts until you do something wrong or we go through it. Then you're going to see them dogs transform because I had a relation with them dogs. You know what I mean? I fed them, I talked to them, you know what I mean? I confided in them, you know what I'm saying? And I understood them and they understood me.
Yeah. It's like a Camden story because they treat us like sometimes we're mutts until they
Right.
go through something with us,
That
and then
part.
they see us transform.
Indeed.
And this is what I think this podcast, what I want to bring out is that we're not mutts.
That's right.
And that's why we're talking about this. And so was there any like particular one time you remember, like people now you getting your name out there as far as in the streets and stuff? And,
yeah.
and for people who know, we knew him as Yaki in the street. He is Prince Bhadi, an amazing professional fighter. But we just talk about this briefly.
Oh, absolutely. Well, back in the day when I was known as Jack, we had a guy who played basketball for Woodrow Wilson. His name was Rockmire, Ronald Damon. He got shot. And I was concerned because I lived on the same street that he lived on, and we grew up on the same street. So even though when I got a little older, when I got into my teens, 13, 14, I bought my first house. It was an old house. Yeah. Because I had a car, the car got totaled, and I got an insurance check. But the insurance check was in a lady who adopted me unofficially as like one of her children. Her name was Carolyn Tokley. And she had a lot of sons. Wilson,
Jeff and them,
Jeff Tokley.
Wilford, Jeff and okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I used to stay with the Tokleys.
Okay.
So when my car got totaled and the check got in her name, I was able to take the check and put the check down on the house. So I bought 248 Grand Avenue out East Camden.
Bhadi, you had your own house at 14?
14 going on 15, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say I was a grown man because my first child was born into conception when I was 14 going on 15. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jameer about to be he about to be 40, he in his 40s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Shout out to Jameer.
yeah, you talk about growing up fast because Jameer used to work for the cab company.
Yeah. They
with
used to
J.M.
work with me
Yeah.
and Hawk and all these
Yeah,
guys.
and Hawk was my little brother,
respectable
yeah.
guys. Wild, but very
Yeah.
respectful.
Sent them. My dad sent Hawks to live with me because my dad said, I'm getting too old to be trying to deal with this boy. I know he'll listen to you. I took Hawk, put him in the gym. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, Hawk.
Yeah, I had my little brother boxing, man. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah, this thing run deep, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you mentioned Rock, Mar, and I love Rock. That's my guy, man. And so, what had happened?
Well, Rock had got shot by somebody who was from over Philly. But at the time, they didn't know who shot him. They wasn't sure who shot him. So Rock had a boy named Reds who didn't know who shot him and was thinking that maybe I had something to do with it for whatever reason. I don't even know why he probably thought I had something to do with it because where Rock continued to live was different than where I was living because I moved from Moore Street to Grand Avenue.
Yeah, I know Morse, and that's right across the pike.
Yeah, Grand Avenue's right across the pike. So I moved from there, but my mom still lived on Utah Avenue. So I'm original Utah Avenue dude, you know what I'm saying?
For real.
When Wafi lived on Utah Avenue,
Wafi,
and he had all these Doberman Pinschers and one white German Shepherd. When that happened to Rock, one of Rock's boys told me, man, get the F from behind here, man. You probably had something to do with it. I said, who you talking to? So, I said, all right, as soon as we get the Rock situation straight, me and you can take care of this to make sure that you don't got me mixed up no more. So after I went up to the hospital to see Rock, whatever, and I went back. So one day I was walking, I seen him. So I had this big dude with me named Count. I went to Riz. The dude name was Riz, and I said, what's up? It's just me and you. What's up? Because you talking about what you would have did to me. I said, what's up? Now I'm younger than him. I'm probably like 5 years younger than him. So when you 16, these dudes they grown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we start rumbling, and he was stronger than me, but I was so much faster than him. He couldn't touch me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So people start coming around, and I'm talking to him while I'm touching him. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, you're not gonna hit me. You're too slow. You know what I mean? Yeah. I said, all right, man. You keep taking. I'm talking to him. You keep taking these punches. You're not hitting me back, so it's not a fair fight. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna dust you off one last time, and then I'm gonna go about my business because it's not fair. Right. So I hit him with like a 7-8 punch flurry, and then
an 8-piece.
Yeah. Hit him like a 7-8 punch flurry because everybody kept crowding around. So I'm like, man, I'm not trying to show off for these people because more and more people kept coming around. Yeah. So after I hit him with that 8-piece, I was like, man, get out of here, man. And I left. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, he was drunk because he kept trying to load up for that one haymaker. Yeah. And I was like, man, this guy, I tell him, you're never gonna hit me, bro. You're not gonna hit me. So after that, but it was a lot of people that came and showed me some support and some love. Right. You know what I mean? I'm talking about legends from the city, all around Camden. You know what I'm saying? You know the Honies?
Yeah.
Salam and them came.
Right.
It was a lot of people. Najee and them came. Yeah. I mean, this is all people. Northside came because I lived up here.
Northside,
Yeah, I lived up here. I lived 718 State Street.
Okay.
I went to Northeast School when Jay Molina was called Northeast before they called it Jay Molina. It was Northeast. Yeah. I went to Northeast School and I went to Pine Point. So you're talking about Camden. I don't know nobody in my eyes who's more Camden than me when you talk about going around the globe.
The city,
been out of the country, and they talk about Camden. They start calling me Camden, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I don't know nobody more Camden than me because I've been all over Camden, and I put work in all over Camden. Yeah. And I'm not talking about bad stuff. I'm talking about just me being me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I can relate. Yeah.
So
this fight, this kind of birthed the legend of Yaki.
Yeah.
That fight with
that
like
kind of
people
birthed
saw the hands.
Yeah, they saw the hands.
Yeah,
because he was older than me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then I was and all the people that I've been fighting when growing up, they was all bigger and older than me. All bigger and older. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I got grazed one time and got my whole eyelid cut open in a fight. One time I got grazed with a fingernail. Yeah. Tom Moss cut my whole eyelid
That's a
open.
throwback.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a throwback.
We got in a fight because of the dude who framed me and sent me away. Dano Tokley.
Dano, that's a real throwback.
Yeah.
Wow.
The dude, Tom, came to fight Dano.
Dano was wild.
Wow. He was very wild.
Dano was wild, yeah.
He was wild. And listen, Dano got a lot of acknowledgement and credit for things that he called me to come and do. You know how you got a problem and you got young boys that come and handle the problem?
Sure, yeah, and I did it.
And I was his enforcer.
Yeah, but no, you was the one, right?
Yeah, I was an enforcer, but my thing was, but a lot of people don't know this, Dano framed me and sent me away and tried to finish me for the rest of my life. I was facing life plus 65 years because Dano framed me and sent me away. Yeah.
I'm slightly aware of remembering that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of leads to more of your mystique here in this city.
Yeah.
And then fast forward becoming a champion.
Yeah.
How do you go from facing life in prison to becoming a champion on top of the world?
It's crazy.
And
because before Dano did that, I had developed somewhat of an amateur history boxing. There was a boys club on Mount Pike called the Camden Boys Club, Mr. Sam Watson, rest in peace.
Yeah, we got that name the other day from Gene. Sam Watson. Yeah.
Gene used to train there.
Okay.
That's how I go back with Gene.
Okay.
I was the little J.O. in the gym when Gene was training.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All
when
right.
Mike Tinley was training.
Mike Tinley,
When
yeah.
Louis Rivera was training.
Okay, all right.
Pedro Rivera.
Okay.
Andy English. All the Greg Wanamaker. All them
the
dudes. I
guys,
come up
yeah.
under all those guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just one younger guy that came up under those guys that kept going with it. You know what I'm saying? And
Which one you like the most? Bhadi? Which one when you
you
watched
see-
it, when you was like
Which
that?
one I liked the most?
Yeah, which one you thought was like,
I thought Larry Barge was.
wow, Barge.
Yeah, Larry Barge.
That's
I
a
thought he was the
Camden name.
slickest, man. I thought he was the slickest. Mike was hard, but I thought Larry Barge and Louis was hard. Mike and Louis Rivera was hard, but Wanamaker had the best physique, best build.
Yeah.
But Larry Barge, you know what I mean? Big TC. We used to have Big TC too.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing too much of him, but Anthony English was a hell to them big guys. For him to be so small,
Yeah.
and he would box some big guys, you would think he was a big guy, because he handled them like he was their size.
Right.
Yeah, so I remember all that. I was in the gym when I used to see all that.
Right.
Well, a lot of people can't say they seen it, but I seen it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And then I had another guy who was my size at that time, but he was older than me. His name was Peanut, but his real name was Rodney Cromer.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was very sharp, man. Very sharp, man. And we had other guy in there. He was sharp, and we had another little guy in there, a little bigger than Peanut. His name was Brian Moore.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds familiar. How does Camden produce so many good fighters, man? You know it's
what?
such a small city.
I'm gonna tell you, this is my opinion.
Right.
When people live in such close proximity to one another, it is evident that challenge is going to come forth. Because anytime you put people in close proximity to one another, they get the chance to interact with one another.
Sure.
And everybody want to know. Everybody is living life discovering who they are.
Yeah.
And you only know you as well as what you've been through. The rest is belief.
That's big.
Yeah, but it's real.
Right.
As equally
Right.
as big as it is, it's
Yeah.
equally real. The rest is belief, because we got a lot of people running around, moving about that believe that there's something,
Yeah.
but they don't know what they are until they've been tested or until they've been through something.
Yeah.
So you can say whatever you want to say,
Right.
but at the end of the day, when it comes time for you to live it out and live on it and stand 10 toes on it,
Yeah.
you might not be what you thought you was. And that's one of the things that Camden will bring out of you.
Right.
So that's the reason why I mention a lot of times that a lot of times I got into it with people. They were people who were predominantly older than me. On the norm, if I got in a fight with 10 dudes, 7 of them were older than me. It was only maybe 2 or 3 times the guys was actually my age.
Yeah. And they didn't actually believe the whole thing about you, and they wanted to find out.
They wanted to find out, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they wanted to find out. So
Yeah.
that had a whole lot to do with how I wound up, and then we got to a point where, as though, like when I was 14, I went away to the training school for boys, and I came home and I picked up a nice little amount of weight. So a lot of dudes who was older would see me and think that I was older by the way that I would carry myself.
Right.
So one time, now I'm being a class clown, man. I'm throwing stuff up there while the teacher writing on the board. So I'll throw something. So the teacher says, y'all, I'm going to keep y'all for detention. You know what I mean? Y'all going to get detention. So the dude sitting next to me is like, it wasn't me, it was him. So I was like, man, you a nigga.
You couldn't do that back then. You
Yeah.
couldn't do that. Yeah, like,
I
yo.
said, man, I'm banging you up. We getting it in.
Yeah, for sure.
So he ran home from school. And his dad brought him back up to the school, talking about he gonna make him fight me.
Yeah.
So I asked his dad, I was like, man, why would you try to make him fight me, man? I said, you can't even beat me. You know what I mean?
Bhadi was like knocking out Pop. Tears coming out of his eyes. That brought you back, huh?
Boy, dad was like, hold up now, young man. I said, boom, bam. I said, hold up, man. I put him to sleep, man. Yo, man, that was
This
crazy.
is Camden. This is how I remember it. This is 100% unadulterated. Yeah.
Yo, man, everybody went crazy, man. They was like, yo, he knocked his pop out. Yeah.
Well, Hey, he brought him back. He
Dude,
could have stayed home and
I
ate his
told my
Wheaties.
man, I said, man, don't you ever let your dad bring you back up here to fight, man.
Yeah.
You know you told, man, that's why I was gonna bang you up. I said, but he took it for you.
Yo, that's something they talk about. They
man.
probably still talk about that, Bhadi,
Yo, man, yeah, they do.
at the table.
Yeah, they probably do.
Remember that time you got me knocked out?
Yeah. That was
Wow.
the craziest,
Wow,
man.
man.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah.
we had some stories
Yeah,
like that,
no,
man.
for sure. I mean, this is why your name rang bells in the street, man. And it really was. It was super clear. You know, people, when they would say stuff, they really would be careful when they talk. They would be careful when they mentioned you, man. Like,
yeah.
I never saw that type of stuff before.
Right.
In Camden, you can't really even, people were always like, I don't care. But, you know,
Right.
well,
Go get him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
whatever, you know.
Nah, they ain't doing that
But
to
when
me,
they
man.
mentioned your name, it was always like unanimous. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was certain folks like that, you know what I mean? I remember people like Shelton Neal,
That was my-
Pooh
that was
Wheat.
my- that was my road
Yeah,
dog.
you know,
He'll tell
I
you.
love Pooh Wheat.
Man,
you know
they
what
used
I'm
to
saying?
listen. It's amazing that me and Pawik never got into it because we both had the similar spirit.
Yeah, that's right. With
And
dogs
because we
stuff.
both had similar spirits with
Right.
the dogs, with everything, we basically linked up and became very close. But we boxed one time. He was extremely explosive and extremely strong. But see, my thing was I was strong. I was good strength and a lot of internal strength.
Right.
But he was extremely strong, internal and external. So he was very powerful.
Yeah.
The thing with him is he didn't think as well as me,
Okay.
but he was stronger than me.
Okay.
But he didn't think as well as me. And because he didn't think as well as me, you know the mind control everything.
That's it.
So you could be stronger than me, but if
Right.
you can't outthink me, how
Right.
can you deliver your strength?
Right. Because boxing is a chess game.
Exactly. It's mind first.
It's more chess.
It's mind execution.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So Wilson, rest in peace, Wilson Tokley, he let me and Pawik box. And I felt his power. He hit me with one good shot, and I never let him hit me with a clean shot again.
Yeah.
But I made sure that every time he punched, I threw 2 or 3 punches at the same time while he make him miss his punch.
Mm-hmm.
So that, to me, was the way I know I was going to have some great success.
Right.
By making you miss and make you pay at the same time you miss. So I know
Countering.
no
Countering.
matter
Yeah.
what kind of shape you in,
Right.
a guy hits you with 2, 3 shots, clean shots, every time you hit and miss him with a big shot,
Yeah.
you're gonna wear down before he does. And I've seen it. I've seen Andre Ward use it throughout the Super 6 tournament.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
all the
yeah. I
people he
remember that
fought.
Carl Froch and all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I paid closest attention to that.
Okay, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that was
No,
one of the
you,
things.
you really are confirming everything you said from the beginning. Is you always who you are.
Yes.
Just different stages,
Stages.
of
Yep.
that. And it seems to me that you've been building that since then. And,
Yep.
and being on your own since like 14, you
Yep.
probably thought a lot more than the average 14.
Yes, I did. I was
right?
because I was
as a
man.
chess game
Yeah.
and how you had to live and plan out your days per
Absolutely.
se. How you gonna eat, how you gonna pay
That's
rent.
right,
how you
that's
gonna do
right,
this
that's
kind of
right.
stuff. You know, this is really to me like it's like semblance of you taking this and going into the boxing
Yep.
world. And how,
Yep.
how did you get the idea that okay, I'm gonna take this street sort of career
I'm glad
and
you
make
asked.
it professional?
I'm glad you
Yeah.
asked. This what happened. One day, I was on mountain pipe. I was 11, right? 11 years young. I was out in front of this barbershop called Jimmy's Barbershop, right?
Yeah.
Right now, that barbershop, that place that was a barbershop is now a Crown Fried.
Yeah.
But it used to be called Jimmy's Barbershop.
Jimmy's, my first haircut.
Yeah. So me and this guy named Anthony Gaguten got into a fight in front of the barbershop. So, because he was messing with my cousin who was older than me, but he was smaller than me. His name is Bam.
Bam.
Yeah. But so I was like, man, you ain't doing nothing the hell. That's my cousin, nigga. What's up? You know what I'm saying? So we got to fighting. So the owner of the barbershop was Mr. Jimmy. He came and said, oh, y'all don't got to fight now. Break that up, man. He said, man, you brothers need to come over in the gym, man, and settle your beef like real men. I said, yeah? He said, yeah. I tell you what. He said, at 7 o'clock, you meet me over across the street, right in that building over there. He said, I'm going to let y'all take care of y'all business. I went over there. He met me over there. He bust my lip. I bust his nose. We had a lot of people there.
Yeah.
A lot of people like talking about, like cheering us on. So when that happened, Mr. Jimmy was like, you know what, young fella? He said, you need to come back over here, man. Come and see me tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? He said, you might have a future in this.
He liked what he saw.
He liked what he saw. I came back and I was going to the store for him every day. He would give me money for going to the store for him, right?
Yeah.
But as he was giving me money and going to the store for him, I would come back. Him and another older guy, older than Mr. Jimmy, named Sam Watson.
Sam Watson.
He used to run the jail. He used to run this too.
Okay, yeah.
Mr. Sam Watson, old bow-legged Sam, he used to keep a cigar in his mouth.
Yeah.
And as I
We heard about that. Yeah. Old bow-legged Sam.
Man, talk big trash to you.
Yeah.
Used to tell me, tell everybody, you ain't did nothing. You need to go back in there. You ain't done nothing.
Character, real character.
Yo, he was a character, man. He ain't had no cut, no chase. No, he ain't had no cut on it. All raw. He was in there playing, man. We be seeing Mr. Sam when we come in the gym. He got his feet kicked up with a cigar in his mouth and he sleep. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yo, Mr. Sam, you ain't see me because you was asleep. He said, man, I wasn't asleep. I saw you on the back. You only did 5 rounds.
He knew it too. He knew it.
Tell you what you did and everything, man.
Right.
But when you looked up, he was asleep.
Yeah.
Man, Mr. Sam, he seen you even though you thought he didn't.
Right.
And he was a hard man to please, though.
And these were the characters that drove you.
Yes.
That said that I could do something
Yes.
more because they wanted you to do more, basically.
Yes.
Basically. We'll be back with more stories from Prince Bhadi. Yeah. That's crazy.